One of the increasingly important aspects to take care of in videos is definitely color correction. In Premiere Pro, we have the Lumetri panel, which should always be used in conjunction with the Lumetri Scopes panel. For basic correction, we have white balance, exposure, contrast, etc. The equivalent in DaVinci Resolve is accessible from the color page. Here too, we can activate the scopes, which can be customized. If we want access to different tools, we can do so through this menu. And if we want to see them all together, I call on Expand. At this point, a larger monitor or a second screen would be great. However, we can also choose just two. These are my favorites. The basic parameters for color correction can be found in the Color Wheels panel. We find the white balance here in Resolve. If we are sure we have true gray in the frame, we can use the eyedropper tool. The same eyedropper that we find in Resolve. The control over contrast is found in this parameter. But additionally, and here we see the brilliance of Resolve, there is the pivot parameter, which represents the threshold at which the lighter areas lighten and the darker areas become darker. I assume you have a basic understanding of color correction tools, and especially of color and exposure measurement tools. If not, this will be the most difficult part for you, so focus as much as possible for the next 3 minutes. I have always thought that the terms used in photography are at least misleading, especially the terms lights and shadows, which do not indicate anything similar to what our brain imagines. If we also consider the translations from English, we can easily understand why most photographers abandon the activity after less than a year. Let's do a nice reset of these words, especially since every software calls the same things differently. Let's think of more universal concepts like light and dark, which act on the brighter or darker parts of the image. Now, the electronics physics technicians can cover their ears, because I am about to use improper terms at least. In Premiere Pro, we control the exposure of the lighter or darker areas with these 4 sliders. Let's see which of these sliders correspond in Resolve. We find exposure in the 4th slider called Offset. The highlights parameter, meaning the lighter parts of the image, is found in the 3rd slider called Gain. The shadows parameter, meaning the darker parts of the image, is modified with the Lift slider. The whites are called highlights. The blacks are called shadows. So, exposure becomes offset. Contrast remains contrast. Highlights becomes gain. Shadows becomes lift. Whites becomes highlights. And blacks becomes shadows. If you want to take a screenshot, you can do so, but know that you will find below the link where you can download this table along with the conversion of the most used shortcuts between Premiere Pro and Resolve. Let's not forget about saturation control, as in the bottom of Premiere Pro. You can find it in this field called Sat in Resolve.